Then Sports Central, we go for a college football game preview and prediction on the Week 1 matchup between Penn State and West Virginia. Two teams with high hopes looking forward to 2024, and I would say rightfully so. Penn State, I could see this team making a run for a national championship this season, and they're taking on West Virginia, a team that's one of my favorite dark horses in the country this season. I wouldn't be surprised if West Virginia, this is quietly a true dark horse and dangerous team this season. So with that, we'll be going over a full game preview and prediction on this matchup here today. Let's get started. Games will be on Saturday, the 31st in Morgantown, West Virginia. This is, you look forward to the season. Penn State's ranked 8th in the country. West Virginia isn't ranked, but you got to remember this was a 9-win team last season that won each of their last 3 games. They really finished off the season strong. They've got some really good experience looking forward to the season. That's why this is kind of a dangerous matchup for Penn State going on the road in Week 1 to who, once again, I would say is a pretty dangerous West Virginia team. But your spread's going Penn State by 8.5 here, so Nittany lines still remain a decent favorite, over under 51.5. And the FPI is also going Penn State 77%. You look at the series history, West Virginia really hasn't had much success. We've seen Penn State win 49 matchups to West Virginia's 9 over the course of the series. Penn State has won 5 straight, and the last time these two teams faced each other was last season in State College. Penn State won it in dominant fashion, 38-15. Your stat comparison. These are stats from last season, so obviously things are different, but this can give you a look into where both teams look to improve, but also their strengths last season. And both teams were, I would say, pretty balanced overall, but Penn State obviously had just a much higher level. They were 15th in the country in points per game, 3rd in points allowed. This was definitely one of the toughest defenses in the country last year. I would say they were a top 4, top 5 defense overall in the country. Just based on, they had the top rush defense when it came to yards allowed. They were 11th in the country in pass defense. So this was a pretty well-rounded defense last year. It was just Drew Aller and this offense at times just were a bit inconsistent. They were 75th in passer per game. Rushing game not terrible, 36th, but obviously, if this offense could have played at just a bit of a higher level last year, they could have been a true threat, which they already were a true threat last year. It was just the fact that 2022 and 2023 were really similar seasons for Penn State. Each of the last 2 years, this has been a really strong team. They just haven't been able to get past Michigan or Ohio State. And so you look at that into 2024, obviously with not having the divisions in the Big Ten anymore, plus the 12-team playoff, I think this really opens up the door for Penn State to potentially, a better chance to get in the college football playoff and a better chance to make a run for a national championship. But as for West Virginia, 47th in points per game, 66th in points allowed, 95th in passer per game, which obviously isn't great, but Garrett Green, the quarterback of this team, showed some improvement over the course. He showed flashes of greatness last season. I wouldn't be surprised. He's definitely a breakthrough candidate looking forward to 2024, just based on what we've seen and what can be. This was a really strong backfield last season, 5th in rush yards a game, so that's definitely an area to keep an eye on. And defensively, that was maybe you could say the main issue for this team. In multiple games last year, like when they lost to Houston, they allowed 41 points. They lost to Oklahoma State, allowed 48, allowed 59 to Oklahoma. So this defense was pretty poor at points. So it's just a matter of, can the defense improve? Plus, the offense looks to be improved. So West Virginia is a team that should definitely have some optimism looking forward to 2024. Your key points: Penn State, a 10-win team last season. I've said this. This is, it is the way it is right now. This is the overshadowed national contender in the Big Ten, just behind Ohio State and Michigan. This could be the year that changes. Not many are talking about Penn State as a true contender. This is a team talented enough to really make a run for a national championship this season. And the 12-team playoff, if it benefits anybody, that's a true contender this season, I would say it'd be Penn State. Penn State's really a team that if they can get in the 12-team, they're one of those teams that I could see making a run for the championship. So, you consider Drew Aller as well. If he can improve this season, that's a huge factor in how far this Penn State team goes this season. And you look at the defense, I'd say it's still supposed to be pretty solid. So this is a pretty strong Penn State team overall. This is a team that's primed to make a national title run in 2024. And for West Virginia, what a chance for them, taking on a national contender in Penn State at home. This is a chance for a huge momentum-building early season upset for the Mountaineers here, and Gary Green is a breakout candidate. I would say it again. So, I mean, in week one, we see some strange things can happen in week one, and I'm not putting it past West Virginia to have a true chance to knock off Penn State here. And so with that, let's get a prediction here for Penn State and West Virginia coming up here in week one of action. I think this is a close competitive matchup. West Virginia at home, the dangerous team that they are. I see them keeping this game close in week one, but I do think Penn State finds a way here. I'm going to go 27-20 Penn State. For me, what it came down to, I do see this being more of a lower scoring matchup, especially in comparison to the line of 51.5. West Virginia's defense, I do think, will hold up. They'll give them a chance, but my thing is, I mean, West Virginia's offense shows tremendous potential, but going up against one of the top defenses in the country, it is going to be tough to score a lot of points. So I think Penn State somehow, some way finds a way, but it's going to be it'll be a scary game for Penn State for sure. I think West Virginia really keeps it close and has a true chance, but I do want to give the edge to Penn State in the end. So I'm going to say 55% towards the Nittany Lions, and West Virginia cover the spread in the end. But with that, let me know your thoughts and comments below on this matchup. A fun one coming up here in week one, and I appreciate you guys watching as always. My name is Evan. This is All Sports Central. Stay tuned for more. We'll catch you on the next one.